What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well. Happy New Year. This is true dedication, right? New Year's Eve. I could be out doing anything else, but here I am talking to my favorite people about the Celtics versus probably the worst team in the league, the San Antonio Spurs. The Celtics pretty much dominate this game from start to finish, come away with a 134-101 win. They built up a nice win streak here. This is 6 in a row, 9-1 in their last 10. One of the main things I'm thinking about after this game is Tatum after that Detroit game. He said, yeah, even though this team has had their 27-28 game losing streak, this is not the worst team in the league. And I think when he said that, he was referring to the San Antonio Spurs. But this is a perfect game to really get a pulse on the Celtics because, you know, in years past, this is something we talk about a lot here. In years past, they come out against lesser opponents and play down to the competition, just make the game way harder on themselves than it needs to be. But credit to this new and improved Celtics team, this has happened a lot less this year, and specifically tonight, they kept their foot on the gas the whole time. Besides that little lapse there in the second quarter, it was business as usual. Something else I'm noticing too is that before this season started, there was a lot of talk around this team. If they're down one starter, how are they going to manage that? Will they be able to survive that? And tonight it was no Drew and no problem. The Celtics come out with a 31-point win, and you might be saying to yourself, yeah, well, it's against a team like San Antonio, but this is not the only case. There's been times this year where they've been missing Tatum, they've been missing D White, they've been missing KP, and their record is 26-6. So maybe that being down one starter thing and being in trouble, I don't know how true that is. Of course, come playoff time, it might be a different story, but for the regular season, this team could still rack up wins. But how are the Celtics able to withstand being down one starter some nights? And I think a lot of that credit goes to Al Horford. He's always ready to step in when KP is out, but more importantly, when one of the guards is out, he's ready to step in. That double big lineup comes back together, and the familiarity of that group, or just the double big lineup, really helps the Celtics withstand being down a starter. Something else I'm liking about this team is how they're passing the ball, but more importantly, how well they're taking care of the ball. You know, that magic number, that unlucky number 15, that when the Celtics hit, they generally lose the game. They've been staying away from that this year. This was another game, just 12 turnovers. There's a lot of factors that play into that. Maybe it's because Derek White's getting a lot more point guard time, or we have Drew Holiday, but I think a lot of it has to do with one player in specific, and that's Jaylen Brown. To start off the season, JB had a few rough weeks, but ever since then, he's really been great in the playmaking and decision-making department of the game. His poise is there. He's making more intuitive reads, and when it comes to his reads, it seems like the game is slowing down for him there. And when I talk about playmaking and decision-making, I'm not just referring to him making plays for others. I'm talking about him making plays for himself. How many times tonight did we see JB recognize he had a mismatch? He would calmly get to his spot, back the guy down, spin move, baseline, easy dunk. Enough can't be said about Jaylen Brown's continuous growth. Going into the season, I was unsure if he had another shot of making all NBA. Just because it's positionless now, it makes it a little bit harder to make one of those teams, but if he continues on this path and the Celtics continue to win in the fashion in which they are, he has a pretty good chance in my opinion. And let's move on to Tatum. I think a lot of Celtics fans were happy with his game tonight. Finished with 25 points, 6 rebounds, super efficient, 10 for 17 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3. And that's one of the keys right there, right? Whenever he is efficient from 3, you never hear a peep about a shot selection. But tonight was a little bit different, right? You could see earlier in these highlights that I'm showing, a lot of Tatum's made threes came off of just catch and shoot. I think he had one made pull-up three, a couple other attempts in there, but for the most part, there was none of the sizing guys up, sidestep 3. I think what we got to keep in mind, or what I got to keep in mind though, is that this isn't going to be like this every night. He's playing the San Antonio Spurs, a very poor defense. He was getting extremely easy looks tonight, and that's just not how it's going to be every night. There's going to be teams that are loading up on him, and he's going to have to take tough shots every now and then. Another thing I want to hit on Tatum that probably flew under the radar tonight was his defense. He was everywhere tonight, active hands, getting in passing lanes, blocking shots. It's always a good sign when your superstar player is bringing that level of defense against a bottom feeder team. Kristaps with another good game, 14 points, 9 boards. It's crazy how effective he can be even when he's not shooting well. 4 for 14 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3, but his plus minus was plus 33 tonight, and that's just because of his defensive impact. Other than that first month of the season, his 3 ball's really been off. I do want to see it come back around. I don't see it as a long-term issue because we know who he is for his career, but as I said, I think it was about a month ago, he has that wrap around his wrist or his right hand. I don't know why nobody is asking him about it. I'm sure that has something to do with his shooting. Well, we'll see. Derek White, another great performance, super efficient, 17 points, 5 assists, 7-11 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. It just seems like every night that goes by, he's getting better at something. It's been great to see as the season has gone along, they've really leaned into D White to be that point guard, and it was also great tonight to see his old hometown crowd, San Antonio, cheering for him, chanting D White is an all-star. I'm not sure if that was the San Antonio fans or the Celtics fans in San Antonio, but either way, it was nice to see. A couple of other quick things. Peyton Pritchard, I know his scoring has been up and down, not what people want to see, but I think we're seeing a different side of him recently, more of a point guard side. Tonight he had 7 assists, the game before he had 6, just impacting the game in other ways, and that's something I want to mention more here because I've been harsh on him throughout the season, but even though his scoring hasn't been there, he's done other things. He's been a great energy guy, gotten a lot of offensive rebounds for being a 6'1" guard out there, and as I said, more of a point guard, so that's good. To really sum up this game though, the Celtics had control from start to finish. There was never a point in this game where you thought, oh, here they go, here they're going to lose this again. Of course, there was that moment there in the second quarter where Wemby went off and they cut the game to within 4, but other than that, it was business as usual. And if there was any Spurs fans listening throughout the video tonight, I said the Spurs are bad multiple times, and it's not a knock. You guys didn't have Keldon, you didn't have Zach Collins. Wembanyama has really impressed me throughout the season. He didn't come in and set the world on fire. He's not a top 20 player like some people projected, but he is a great rookie. But there are some confusing things going on there. His 3-ball was falling tonight, but for the season, his percentage is in the 20s. Not saying he can't shoot threes. That form looks good. There's nothing wrong with his shot. I think that will actually get better over time, but his overall field goal percentage is 44%. I'm not exactly sure how at 7'5" and super skilled his field goal percentage is so low. It probably has something to do with that you guys don't play a true point guard with him. If you did, he could have 8 to 10 more points easily around the basket, even if you just started Trey Jones along him, or maybe you guys have done that already and I just don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It's the best and easiest way to support. I'm here after every single Celtics game, all 82 plus. I'm not going anywhere. Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, doesn't matter. I will talk to you guys January 2nd, Tuesday. Shay and them boys, peace.